Malik Nabers from the New York Football Giants, number 6 overall. We saw the playmaking ability. We saw the explosiveness. Probably not an ideal situation to walk into.
Offense wasn't going great.
The adjustment to a big market and 4 different quarterbacks. But Malik Nabers had a pretty dang good rookie season.
He's running routes like he's playing in the backyard. When I get past the red car, throw it up. Oh, I got James out there covering me. Yeah.
Oh, come on now. My back pedal's all right. All right, here at 89, the rookie report card, Steve, continue, and we're going to the top of the draft. We're going to number 6 overall. Malik Nabers from the New York Football Giants has a franchise record. 109 catches in his rookie season. He has 1,204 yards. I believe 7 touchdowns as well. Touching footballs from a plethora of quarterbacks. We'll get to that. But we saw the playmaking ability that, Steve, you broke down brilliantly during the draft process. We saw the explosiveness. We saw the playmaking ability with the football in his hands. Probably not an ideal situation to walk into with everything that went on with the Giants this past year, from off-season hard knocks through the rest of the regular season, watching the team down the road take your running back and win a Super Bowl. But Malik Nabers had a pretty dang good rookie season.
He had a really good season. What I really loved about Malik's situation is I had the opportunity to be in that building for a couple of days. So I got the opportunity to go down there, have a great relationship with the general manager. He was with the Panthers organization, really low man on the totem pole, worked his way up through football operations. So before I get started on Malik, Joe Sean has worked his way through the NFL, and whether people like it or not, that is the process of how you become a general manager. True. And you are just the card holder. You are just working in the equipment room, learning all the ins and outs of the football operations part. And sometimes as football players, we believe and we look at those guys as, jock sniffers or this or that. And what they are is the same thing they're doing as someone who wants to have a career in football management or administration. They are doing the same thing the same way football players. Pop Warner, the equipment room. Then from there you are playing, junior peewee, so they get to hold the cards. And so there's a progression that you see happens. And that's what goes on. And Brandon Beane was like that. Mm-hmm. Hell, when I was drafted, Brandon Beane was the guy who picked me up from the airport. So, and now he was the part of the team that drafted MVP. So just kind of giving context to everything. And then Dayball has been around, he's been around football forever. Mm-hmm. He's been,
Good
13, coach. 14 teams, been around football 25 plus years. So knowing that and experiencing that, going through it, I had the opportunity to go in there and just kind of sit in the meetings, understand the complexity of the offense. I believe the offense is a little bit too complex. They have a lot of one word, just tells everybody what to do. Everybody's different, but I was really confused when I was sitting in there because they had a word and then something else, and then when they used something else, that flipped it, but then that flipped the responsibilities and everybody's supposed to know it. And it was complicated in my opinion, right? It wasn't, and so like they would say the word, and then after practice, we were sitting in the meetings and they showed a diagram. I said, oh, that's such and such and such and such. They said, yeah. I said, man, y'all should have just said that. Because, so I just thought that was really cool. The complexity of offenses now and the verbiage and how it's communicated, what it's done, they've adapted to what guys are doing in the college system. And so that's really cool. That's unique. But, these teams are adapting and getting accustomed to how their players are being coached in college. And so they're trying to transition that into the NFL a little bit. So there's not as of a huge transitional gap. And why is that important is if a guy can play fast because he's confident in knowing what he has to run, now that's one less thing that he has to concern himself with. And now he can just focus on running a route, what's the defense, and get my depth. And that's what I really love with Malik. He's sneaky good, a little bit casual when you watch him, but he can really run routes. So for me, running routes, I give him a B. Catching, I gotta give him an A. Potential. Potential. I don't want to go too high, but I don't want to really go too low because I do think he's just scratching the surface.
Yeah, Steve, I want to jump into one thing that you said about his route running. I talked to a bunch of people in the NFC East, know a lot of people on different teams in this division, so wanted to kind of get a really educated opinion from people that played him a lot, right, Steve? So they know Malik a lot. And this one I thought was interesting, and it kind of goes what you said. It was like there's some laziness in his play, but I think it's going to work itself out because when he's on, and he is a problem. But you do see that in some routes. What do they mean when they say there's a little bit of once in a while, some laziness in his play?
He's so athletically gifted that it can be perceived as lazy. I don't think he's being lazy, but I already know what he can be.
Is it because they're seeing it like it can be this, and when you see those flashes?
Yeah. Like when we get into this is when I'll say it kind of looks lazy because he's kind of off. When we get into a film, I will show you what I mean by lazy because he's so gifted.
Exactly. And being that gifted, I wanted to say this. This was said by almost everybody that I talked to, whether it was a pro personnel director or a defensive coach or GM or assistant GM, somebody on that side of things. It was, and I wrote this down, just get him the ball. Like they all said the same thing. You just get him the football. And it's, he comes out of LSU, and one guy put this to me perfectly. He's like, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, great elite route runners. He is a playmaker. He's not on that level of route runners with those guys, but he is just equally as dangerous because if he's in a situation, just throw him the ball and he'll make something happen. And the one thing I wanted to bring up to you and ask you this, because I don't think anybody, comparing someone to DeAndre Hopkins is an awkward thing to do. He's a rare type of player, the way he played. The hand, and it was even brought up, they're like, I know he doesn't have Hop's hands, nobody does, but they were like, I get that kind of same feel, where even if Hop was covered, you kind of throw it in his direction, and he's gonna either make the play or it's incomplete, right? It's not a bad decision, and somebody brought that up that's the feeling you start to get as Malik is gonna play, that you can throw it to him covered.
Yeah, you didn't see that too much this year just because the quarterback situation. Yeah. Wasn't cemented. There was a lot of, let's give this guy a try. How's he going to work out? We need a change of guard. We need to spark this offense. Mm-hmm. What's his name? DeVito.
Let's run through it. He had Daniel Jones, he had Drew Lock, he had Tommy DeVito, he had Tim Boyle. Is that what you want to have happen in your rookie season, Steve?
I mean, if it gets you the franchise record for rookie receptions, I guess so, yeah. Right. It didn't faze him much.
No, it didn't. I mean, he did fine. He did fine.
Well, hey, you want to get to the tape then?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get to the tape, man. It was some cool stuff. Hold up. Grandpa need his glasses.
This episode of 89 is brought to you by Row. Listen up, people. It's spring, right? Everything is in bloom. So let's talk a little birds and bees, because everybody's a little frisky in the spring. And Row Sparks, well, they have you covered. If you're looking for a little boost, a little more fun for you and your partner, well, Row has it taken care of. Now, I'm no doctor, but you put it under your tongue, it dissolves, it lasts for up to 36 hours, so you can go back to back to back to back if you'd like. Now, Row connects you with a medical provider 100% online, so there's no awkward face-to-face interaction. And, if you're approved, shipped directly to your door. So if prescribed, new sexual health patients will get $15 off Sparks on a reoccurring plan. So connect with a provider at row.co/89 to find out if a prescription for Row Sparks is for you. Be ready to play with Row Sparks.
Grandpa need his glasses. I'm a old man. Let's go. So down in the slot, he's going in motion, trying to give him the ball early. And that's what they do. Run a little screen pass. Great job. Look how crafty he is. He doesn't look like he's running. That's what I'm talking about, lazy, where he's blazing. Breaking
like you're saying
tackles,
that's perceived, Steve, right?
Yes, it's perceived. But look at the power. This is how you know it's not lazy. Pause right there. Look at the power he has. And you see that black mark? That's the black pebbles coming up on the turf.
Oh, I see it.
Because he's putting so much force.
The cut with the right
generating when he's putting his 1 foot in the ground.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good, man. Yee. Look at that. Bow, bow. Keeps
He's
his
gonna
balance.
be a yak monster, Steve.
Just outstanding. Very casual. He's up top. This is what we call like a play action RPO. They're drawing up the linebacker. Some people say this is a lazy route or, he's cutting it off, or a receiver coach say he's rounding it off. It's called a glance. And he's glancing in and allowing himself to get skinny, but also knowing it's going to be a quick throw because of the RPO, run pass option. But in this situation, there is no run pass option. There is a fake run, the pass. I am the option.
He also takes 2 dudes with him after he catches the ball.
This is early in the game against the Colts, and they started very quickly to double team Malik Nabers because they did not want or allow him to get going because of his ability to catch the football, to run outstanding routes, and break tackles. Now, this is crazy because it's not the greatest release. And while I handpicked this play, he's running routes like he's playing in the backyard. Hey, when I get past the red car, throw it up. Oh, I got James out there covering me. Yeah.
Oh, come on now. My back pedal's all right.
When my foot is at the blue Chevette, throw it up because I will catch it at the red Datsun. And that's Kenny Moore, the second. That ain't no slouch corner now.
Kenny Moore's a real good corner. Real good corner. So, Steve, let me ask you this, because I was told this, and I'm looking at my notes. He's not a super separator. He's good at it, but that's just not who he is.
That's a lie.
Is that a lie?
That's a lie. He's right now he's banking on, same thing that we talk about Xavier, banking on his speed, being a young guy, widening out, right, and then just outrunning the guy. What is interesting is how much you see Kenny. Kenneth Moore is not a fast guy, but Malik Nabers can fly. And look how quickly he starts to separate. If this ball is thrown out more, this is a touchdown, keep going, don't even break stride.
Yeah.
I believe the underthrown pass allows the corner to actually catch up.
Yeah.
And really stop a lot of the collateral damage that was about to happen.
But he goes up and gets it always.
Yeah. Now he's up at the top. Now, this is what I love about this route. He widens him, gets in his blind spot, and comes back downhill. He doesn't get the football, but that shows his intelligence and understanding how to run a route. That's what he's going to need on a go route. Now he has that corner believing, I can beat you.
Yep.
Now that corner understands, I got to get on my horse. If I'm going to be in this kind of back to the sideline, looking through the defender to the quarterback, I have to understand that the receiver that I'm covering has the ability to get out of my peripheral vision and get in my blind spot and do some damage on a different route. So I have to be careful. And that's all this is. This is to show you that Malik Nabers has the ability to route up the corner.
Yeah.
And as he continues to get better, as he gets a better quarterback, as the offense improves because of better offensive line play, better quarterback play, then all that does is set up Malik Nabers to have more explosive plays and not as many plays where they have to kind of put him in the slot and through some zones and do some of that creative stuff because of the inability to have a stable offensive line with the protection. Go back. This is what I'm talking about. Just so casual. He's such a glider. Look at this. Doo-doo. So he catches the ball with his hands. Opens up the gate. Not supposed to do that. And then gets going. It ain't really much for me to say. I just let the film speak for itself. Look at him.
That's why, I'm looking through these notes, Steven, like a guy in the division's like, he's the clear and obvious holy shit dude with plays like that.
Mama, there go that man again. This is against Marlon Humphreys, one of the top tier. He was obviously a high draft pick out of Alabama. Mm-hmm. He could play with the Baltimore Ravens. And Marlon's done a really good job of transition as his career has gone on. He's transitioned to the nickel. And this is a really good route. Gets him inside, gets him going, pow, and spins him. Gets him going, gets him to lean. Then as soon as he leans, I would, to be critical, all I would do is maybe lean on him, take him another step. Not now the outcome, taking another step, because maybe with the throw, it gives you an opportunity not to maybe run out of real estate because of the throw.
Mm-hmm. Still good catch.
And because of the throw, how it is, it runs out of real estate. So then he could have maybe caught it and turned up the field. But that's just nitpicking because I'm so excited to see what he can do with the ball in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Great release. Get skinny. That was impressive. Just right here that's one of those I want to see him. I want to see him give a little bit more attack, create free access. He doesn't attack as much. He kind of hops. He already knows he's playing well. He does it. This is one of those where you know the type of corner you're going against, and you know your athleticism, and so you kind of go in and you just try to sell him. You ain't really trying to go. You're just trying to sell him. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes that just happens, man. That's human error. Malik can play, man. It's going to be fun to watch him. Great job creating free access for himself in college. He's done a good job. He uses his speed. I just want to see how he does when other teams start to come up and try to press him and be a little bit more aggressive with him next year, is how his plan is prepared for that.
Yeah. I'm going to give a couple grades here. Resilience, we mentioned the quarterback, Steve. We talked about Malik in the beginning of the season. If you remember how we broke down a couple of his comments post-game and how the New York media might have their way with what your comments are and kind of manipulate them in any sort of capacity.
Did you feel that he didn't look for you as much as you would have expected? I mean, I don't know really what was going on back there, but I'm getting out my routes and, I'm just trying to make a play.
I know what he meant. I think you know what he meant. When he said, I don't know what's going on back there, that was twisted. He's more or less saying, I don't know what's going on back there because I'm running my route.
I'm running my route.
I'm focused on what I have to do.
Exactly. I don't know what's going on. Nobody should be running around talking about, man, I hope they block up.
Yeah. You're looking and seeing what's happening with your quarterback the whole time. Like, you know what? I thought he should have stepped up in the pocket a couple of times. He had to handle that in the beginning of the season. 4 different quarterbacks. The adjustment to a big market, because I'm not going to lie, during the draft time, there was a lot of people that were curious where he was going to land and the importance of where he was landing and how it was handled, because there were some question marks that some teams had about him. So I'm gonna give him kind of an A with handling the season, because I don't know if anybody had a more difficult quarterback situation than Malik Nabers, and to put up the numbers that he did, to get over 1,200 yards, to have 109 catches. I mean, he was their offense for a lot of stretches, and that's a lot to put on a rookie. So I think that part stands out to me. And then the playmaking ability, straight up, like everybody I talk to, just the playmaking ability is off the charts. It's just like he's the guy that just it flashes easy for him sometimes, like you said, and I think that's where we're kind of getting at with it. Some of these things just kind of come easy to him, and maybe it can be perceived incorrectly maybe some of the time, but other people see it as he just has a knack for making these plays and turning something small into something big, which I think in some people's minds during the draft process, Steve, right, it was him and Marvin Harrison Jr. being 1A and 1B, however you wanted to break them down. And some people put Malik above Marvin because of this exact playmaking ability of taking the short ball and going deep and putting touchdowns on the board when that play wasn't designed for that, but he makes something happen kind of on his own. What I wanted to ask you, because this came up with a couple different people, they liked his versatility. The other part I mentioned, and I want to get to this, the resilience part, like they strained to get him touches a lot. And that's a lot to put on a player. And then the other part is they already see him as a 3-level player. Can you kind of break that down for everybody at home of what that kind of means?
So 3-level route running, you have explosive plays, which is 20 plus. mid or intermediate, 10 to 19, and then you have short, 0 to 9. Generally, the short is really used for guys in a slot. Intermediate and explosive plays are guys that are F and X and Zs.
Yep.
He has the ability to impact and take a little screen pass and get you the first down. Then he also has the opportunity to get you have the first down already with the catch, like we showed you. And then he could take it for 57 yards and score a touchdown. Then you put him in a slot. It can be 2nd and 3. Now you have an opportunity to open up the playbook. You put him in a slot. He goes against some of the top corners.
Yeah.
And now he's isolated. You identify the coverage for the quarterback. So now the quarterback is confirming where he's going with the ball, not discovering where he's going with the ball. And then all of a sudden you let your guy beat their guy. And he just brings a level of playmaking ability that every team wants. And that's why the draft is such a pivotal place, because you get a top-notch player or a rare talent, and you get to grow and go with them, but you don't necessarily immediately, unlike free agency, where you have to commit all these financial resources and the season hasn't even started, and now you have injuries. So there's always the unforeseen, but then you got the commitment. With the draft is such importance because you can discover, basically you can get a thoroughbred and pay a quarter of the price. So final grade, I gotta give Malik Nabers an A. Outstanding, dealing with adversity, got a concussion, had some things, different quarterbacks. Offense wasn't going great in a big city. Handled himself better than a lot of people would have expected. People gonna nitpick, but at the end of the day, overall, I gotta give him an A.
Awesome season through everything, actually, Malik Nabers battled through in terms of a variety of balls coming his way, but he caught them all and had a really, really good year. Fun breakdown.